What is going on, everybody? So today we're going to be taking a look at some One Piece auctions and buy it nows that have ended over the past 8 days or so. It's been a little bit over a week since I've done this. But we'll start off with sealed, then we'll go to slabs. I don't think there's any singles on the list this week. Again, worldwide. We'll start off OPO1. This is a case of blue bottoms. This was coming from Johnny Cash Collectibles in Rhode Island, so the United States. $17,500 or best offer. If you go to 130 point, you can see a best offer of $14,500 was taken. And this ended a couple days ago, June 21st in the morning. This guy apparently paid someone to snake in a camera, and they did confirm that they were blue bottom. So there you go, 14.5 for a case of OPO1. OPO1 blue bottoms, we will see some individual boxes that sold later in the video, but these are definitely popular and they're still selling quite frequently. They're also one of the only items, booster box wise, that we're seeing consistent growth on month over month, week over week. We're not going to be getting more of these on the market, so every single day as these get opened by collectors or rip and shippers, whatever, there's less, your boxes become more valuable. Moving on though, we'll look at OPO9. This is another great set. Lots of cases hitting the market. This was a case for £1,500. This was coming from the UK, I believe. That's about $2,000 USD for a case. And you can see there are one more listed, actually. Sorry, I thought there was two listed, but one more listed. Couple have sold. And then moving on, OP11, same sort of deal. This is a listing from Flipside Gaming in the US. They have 3 more cases available of OP11, 14 have sold. So there were a lot of sales this week of OP11, around $1,600 a case. That's about $133 a box USD, which is a little bit above market, but in a case, I think that's a decent price. Next up, we have a case of OP11. This one went a little bit higher, $1,650. So just trying to show you guys there is a little bit of difference in pricing. Honestly, if you have multiple cases, I recommend taking a photo like this. I don't like the idea of using stock photos. I think that buyers want to see what the condition of the case is going to be that they're buying, just because if they are buying it as an investment or as a collectible, they want to know that there isn't any damage to it. So if you have a good condition box, take photos. That's my recommendation. Moving on, we had 8 booster boxes of EBO2 go on auction at Probstein for $1,385. I think that's close to $173, so pretty much right in line with where market is currently. Boxes were in pretty good condition, but considering OP boxes aren't as liquid as something like Pokemon, it does surprise me that this auction went very close to market price on these. So that's a really good sign if you are holding EBO2. Next up, we'll look at a couple OPO1 blue bottom. So this was a box that was actually signed by Erica Schroeder, who I believe is the voice actor for Luffy in the anime. I did Google her, and I'm pretty sure I was Googling the right person. She did it back from like 04 to 07, I think, and then from 2021 onwards up till current day. So very interesting there, $1,500. A box like this, I really would not recommend buying as an investment, just because in the future, you're going to have to find the right buyer for this. I think some people would disagree with that, and that's fair enough if you think that these are worth picking up. And maybe if you have a very large position, like you're willing to put millions of dollars into one piece or $100,000 or whatever, putting 1% to 2% into a box like this is maybe fine. I don't know. I personally just would not be buying them, especially if you have smaller bankrolls to work with. We have another blue bottom that sold for $1,400. This seller also has 4 more available, but this is buy it now, so it did go for $1,400. We had another one here go on auction for $1,406. This was through Psycho Turtle Collectibles in California, I believe. There were a couple more auctions that sold like $1,200, $1,300 also, so it's not always selling around $1,400, but the majority of the sales are getting pretty close to that level at this point. Now, next up, we're going to take a look at some slabs, and starting off with a doozy, we have Gold Roger English BGS 10 Black Label selling for $10,100, 29 bids. Guys, this is probably the grail card right now. I still love the OPO5 Luffy and think that that could potentially pass this '09 Roger in the future. But right now, this is an insane card. Like, if you're a collector, you want to have a BGS 10 copy of this. $10,000 is wild, especially when you consider if we look at a PSA 10 that just sold $4,900, which by the way, that is crazy high. We've been tracking these for a while. These were going like $4,300, $4,400, now $4,900. And this wasn't a large seller either. Like these are very bad photos, not great quality. And even just because 6 feedback, like a lot of people don't want to buy from a seller who only has 6 feedback, still went for $4,900. But still, that's a difference of over 100% between a PSA 10 and the BGS 10 Black Label most recent sale. So that is just wild to me. The prices on these cards are continuing to rise. And considering we're seeing more OP09 booster boxes hit the market, that is impressive to see. Now, I think we have a couple more copies here. BGS 10 Pristine, so not a Black Label. This is the Japanese version of the card, sold for $2,375. That was through SCC Consignments in Singapore, actually. I don't think we've tracked any of their sales before either way. Japanese version if you're interested. Now we'll move on to some Luffy's. We'll start off with the BGS 10, not Black Label, so just the Pristine. Monkey D. Luffy, gold card. This is from OP11, $5,300, guys. 32 bids. Huge sale there. We also had a PSA 10 version of the same card sell for $4,400. Only 6 bids, and also a fairly small seller. So I don't know if there's going to be this large of a discrepancy between BGS 10s and PSA 10s in the future. Maybe it was just a one-off of these two sales, and this will actually be closer in the future. But this is still over $4,000 either way in a PSA 10, maybe even $5,000 in the future. We also had a Luffy alternate art Ichiro Oda gold stamped card from OP05 sell on auction for $2,050. This is another good sign because we saw this card a month back maybe selling for around $1,800, then $1,850, then $1,900. So it's now moving over $2,000. We are going to have to keep an eye on these as more OP05 hits the market. It looks like a few Bandai stores have been restocked. I don't know if it's an actual reprint or if it's just a restock of some boxes. I would probably go with the latter and say it's just a restock, but time will tell. Either way, pretty awesome to see that over 2K. And then the final Luffy, I think, of the day, there might be one more actually. I might have lied. I think there is one more Luffy coming. The EVO2 PSA 10 sold for $2,000 USD. It says best offer, but if you go to 130 point, you can see $1,999.99 right there. And then the OP09 one, which I remember, I did throw one in, went on auction for $1,287. This was a PSA 10 through a very large seller, DC Sports 87, and it looks like they're out of Virginia. I'm pretty sure that's what VA means, guys. I'm from Canada, so don't hate me in the comments if I'm wrong there. And then a couple more characters we'll look at here. We'll start off with Shanks. This is from Slab Sharks up here in Canada. This is a PSA 10 copy of the Romance Dawn original one, not the PRB 01 version. This sold for $1,055.70 USD, 65 bids there. We also had a Ace BGS 10 Black Label sell through Z&G Emporium for $2,800. This is the one from Paramount War. Very impressive there. And then the final character we're going to look at today is Zoro. This is a BGS 10 Black Label English version from Wings of the Captain that sold for $3,175 USD through Probstein. 34 bids there. Very expensive card for what it is. And if we look at a BGS 10 Pristine, not Black Label, $1,165. That actually sold on Saturday, a couple days ago. And we also had a PSA 10 version sell on Tuesday of last week, June 17th, for $1,100 on auction. So you can see PSA 10 normally cheaper than the BGS 10, not Black Label, and that's much cheaper than the Black Label BGS 10. But I think this week has to be the Gold Roger BGS 10 Black Label. This is a crazy card. Definitely my favorite that we took a look at today. Also, I think it's very interesting, a case of Romance Dawn Blue Bottom sold for $14,500. I'm still on the lookout for a Blue Bottom, and honestly, I need to get one before they just continue to climb because there's not going to be more on the market. It doesn't look like they're getting cheaper anytime soon. And really, when we look at booster boxes in One Piece right now, a lot of them like 09, 05, PRB 01, a lot of these really good sets have slowed down. And the reality is, they're only going to go so high if they're still in stock at Bandai partnered stores. So until boxes start to go out. You can't find them in the wild for MSRP. We are going to have a bottleneck, especially here in the US, where we just do not see decent growth on them until that happens. So with all that said, you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think. Are you picking up any cards? Are you buying anything? Any auctions you're trying to snipe on eBay? If you guys are shopping on the platform or TCG Player or Hobbiesville, I have affiliate links down below. They're free and easy to use. I get a small kickback, so it's a free and easy way to support me to continue making videos for you guys. We'll also be doing a booster box update on Wednesday in the spreadsheet, so if you're in there, be on the lookout for that. If you want to get access to that, it'll be at the top of the description down below. With all that said, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Stay safe wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next one.